So start small, start slow, try it the next time you're faced with one of these situations. You will experience a feeling of exhilaration. You will be so proud of yourself for having made the effort. And that will be the catalyst you need to repeat the behavior on subsequent occasions. What do you think about that, Edna?
I think that's absolutely true. And, I was just observing your own role play here with these hypothetical situations. And I think another thing to note for the audience who's listening to this is the composure and the calm when you say that, when you answer, when you to someone who is pointing fingers at you, just by the way that you say it back, and you even pause for a moment afterwards and let that person kind of let that sink in. I think that itself is already showing that you're completely in control of the situation. And you're it's an element of self-respect as well, and the other person will notice that, right? Just from your from the way you communicate.
And it doesn't matter that you're trembling inside and that it feels so horrid, okay? Act as if. So many sociologists and psychologists and actors and actresses have advised the same. Don't wait until you feel the confidence in order to assert yourself. Pretend that you have it. Be trembling inside. Feel uncomfortable. Feel the fear, but do it anyway.
Exactly.
Before you know it, it doesn't feel so difficult. And before you know it, it actually feels comfortable. And you will be so proud of yourself, really.
Yeah, the feeling's amazing, independent of what happens afterwards. And even I would say that even when, like you said, if you're trembling inside, but even if you're trembling, you're visibly trembling, even if you are, blushing, even if you are crying, and I know because I've gone through all of those where you're physically trying to communicate and you're a mess. You're a mess. But it still is going to feel amazing at the end.
It is. That's right. Something else, I had some notes on cards on, so why do so many women fail to assert themselves? And another reason, okay, they're afraid of the confrontation, which is unfair and inappropriate. So in an effort not to be called aggressive, or in an effort not to be called selfish, or in an effort not to be called too sensitive, they don't assert themselves. Well, you may as well, because people are going to criticize you no matter what you do. So you may as well be criticized for being appropriately assertive, because again, it's just inaccurate criticism. But another reason is I believe too many women have a well-intentioned but misguided view that they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. They have a confusion over being polite and being assertive. For example, I had a 20-year-old student in one of my college classes. Every semester, I would do an exercise where I would ask the students to role play a situation in which they wished they could have been more assertive, and what they actually said, and what they wish they would have said, and what they would say if they're ever faced with the situation again. So one young lady said that she had accepted her boyfriend's marriage proposal a year prior and called the wedding off about a week before. They had to cancel the venue. They had to notify all the guests. And of course, the other classmates were aghast. And why did you accept the marriage proposal if you knew you didn't want to marry him? And she did know at the time. It's not something that evolved. I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
It's so much worse.
Of course. So being assertive can prevent so much heartache and so much aggravation and acrimony later. I'll give you an example of a mature woman trial attorney, friend of mine by the name of Barbara. I went to her office to pick her up. We were going out to lunch. And one of her colleagues said to her, "Okay, Barbie, have a nice lunch." And she turned around and screamed at him in front of the secretaries and the office staff and the paralegals, "Stop calling me Barbie. I hate it when you call me Barbie." And the poor fellow looked down and mumbled, "I didn't know," and was absolutely mortified. As we left, I said to my friend Barbara, "Is that true?" I had assumed that he would goad her that way, that she had made it clear to him that she preferred to be called Barbara and that he persisted in doing this just to annoy her. And she finally blew up. That was my assumption. And Barbara said to me, "No, I never told him." I said, "He didn't know you didn't like to be called Barbie?" I said, "How many times has he done this?" "Oh, 30, 40 times. He always calls me Barbie." I finally got sick of it. I said, "Barbara, why didn't you ever tell him?" Guess what the response was, Edna? "I didn't want feelings." I said, "You didn't want to hurt his feelings, yet you blow up at him like a banshee in front of the whole office and embarrass the heck out of him? Something's wrong with this picture."
Yes.
So being assertive can prevent a problem within you, aggravation, upsetness, stress from festering, which can lead to physical illness and emotional distress as well. Being assertive right from the start is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Liberating.
Yes.
It's so liberating. And once you experience the feeling of liberation, I did it, I got it over with, and now I can relax.
That is the exact word. That is the word, liberating. And that's what I feel.
You'll never want to be any other way. So to answer your question, I learned that just because that's what happened when I started to be assertive. I started to feel so liberated. I started to feel at ease, and I realized I liked the feeling. I think I need to do more of what gets me to that feeling.
Yeah, I think anybody who is serious about feeling free, I love the word freedom.
Yes, yes.
And when you are not assertive, especially when you tend to be a bit more of a passive or passive aggressive, you are not free. Right? It's just,
no, you're not.
You're not free at all. You are a slave of other people and of all these negative feelings and worries that are not helpful.